Author, rock star, CEO of my trusted sponsorship partner, USANA Health Sciences, and my friend Kevin Guest is here for an Oz Talk. Kevin recently wrote a fantastic book called All the Right Reasons. It's full of principles on living a life in harmony, and I want you to take a few minutes and walk people through that deeper philosophy. Good luck, my friend.
Sounds good. Thank you. Well, hello, everyone. It's great to be with you. An interesting thing happened to me not long ago. I got a phone call. On the other end of the phone was a friend that I hadn't seen in over 30 years. And 30 years ago, he was a drummer in a band I was playing in, and I was a bass player. And we were playing clubs all around the northwestern United States, making $50 a night. And he asked me the question, he said, "Kevin, do you know who you are?" I thought, what an odd question that is to ask me, do I know who I am? Because he had gone online and he'd gone to Forbes and he'd seen the success of USANA and the other things that had happened. He knew me as a bass player making $50 a night playing in clubs. Now I'm the CEO of a multinational corporation, and the question of, do you know who you are? And so I want to ask you that question. Do you know who you are? That might seem like an odd question. Might seem like something you'd never considered. Of course I know who I am. But really, do you know who you are? We are made up of values, a set of values, and that is really who we are. And I say, if you haven't written those values down and know specifically what they are, you don't know who you are. So they might be values like faith, might be values like loving, might be value like making a difference. But you need to know what those are, because what that will do is bring clarity to your life and helping you live a life in harmony. Knowing your value system. There's a principle in the book called the Holland Principle. And what the Holland Principle is that we have to live a life of service. And for me, service is one of my core values. It's something that's very important to me. Winston Churchill said the famous quote, he's been attributed to saying this, that we make a living out of what we get. We make a life out of what we give. So think about that. We spend most of our time every day focusing on getting. We're in a society, in a Me Too society, with what can I get? What's in it for me? What if we change our perspective and start giving versus getting? Think of what a difference that would make for you as a husband, father, mother, son, daughter, friend, work associate. If you focus on today, what can I give versus what can I get? I think that's a key element to what's happening in our society today, is the notion of giving versus getting. So for me, when I think of the Holland Principle, I think, how can I serve? And most importantly, what can I give versus what can I get as we think about that? Clarity in your life is so important. And without clarity, it's impossible to have any kind of focus. And that focus is so important as it relates to living a life in harmony. You see, sound waves as they go, if they aren't clear and there isn't clarity there, it becomes all muddled and it turns into noise. It's what we call white noise or pink noise. And what we want is that clarity in our lives, and that clarity can't come without understanding who you are and knowing your value base, what makes you you, and what is important to you. And then those values become your North Star, your guiding light. So my challenge to you is to think about what is most important to you, and to think about things you've seen in others that is attractive to you, that you would like to emulate, and start writing down and knowing what your values are, so you can bring that clarity to your life. And as you do, you'll bring focus. And then the next part of focus becomes how we live our lives day to day. Because those guiding principles now become the set of action items, and as we make decisions every day, we put that up against our values. We make sure they're congruent. We make sure they work well together. That is harmony, living a life in harmony. One of my favorite poems in the world is written by Edgar A. Guest. And it goes like this. I'd rather see a sermon than hear one any day. I'd rather one would walk with me than merely show the way. The eye is a better pupil and much more willing than the ear. To hear fine counsel is confusing, but example is always clear. I may misunderstand you and the high advice you give, but there's no misunderstanding how you act and how you live. I hope you'll join me in this journey of living in harmony, being at peace and finding that peace. But it starts with how you act and how you live. And that can't happen until you know who you are. For me, most importantly, I'm a child of God. That is who I am at my very core. That is what makes me me. And all of my values are stacked upon that basic knowledge. I challenge you to identify your values, to find some clarity in your life, and then focus on having a life in harmony. Thank you.
The guest of all guests, Kevin Guest. God bless you.
Thank you.